Good evening, everyone. It is March 6th, 2023. It is 4 p.m. on the Pacific Coast, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Today, what we had was a nice consolidative session. I noted on Friday, I believe, or maybe it was yesterday, that we had a 3.25% run up off the lows coming at Friday's high. 3.26%. We have now extended that to 4% as the high of this push. A really, really great job moving up, and it came right up to this green level over here and then sold off. Now, tomorrow we do have JPOW on at 10 a.m. Wednesday, even more news, a huge day on Wednesday. So tomorrow what I'm going to be looking for is a quiet opening range, quiet A period, whatever you want to call it. That first 30 minutes, I'm looking for a quieter rotational session, hopefully not just chop. And then based on what the algos are showing, if it's just showing just way too much volatility, I'll be hands off. But we should be getting some sort of action when JPOW talks, and hopefully that settles down as the day progresses. Now, I want to go in a bit as to what we saw today. Let me just do this, and let me throw in a volume profile on here. And let's get rid of this over here and this over here. I just want to show the developing volume point of control. That's this orange line over here. What is this? Get rid of that. And get rid of the drawings. There we go. Now, what did we have today? We had a gap up off the open. The internals were not that great all day, even when we were ramping up, even on this gap up and a 30 point, what is that, 25, 30 point ramp. The internals were actually negative. The breadth was actually negative quite heavily. I believe it was about negative 150 when we were making this high, when we were trying to take the high of the day, which I believe was made somewhere around on 450 positive breadth. So the price, this was a great example of how price can continue to move. Inventory can be squeezed on the individual ticker, even though the entire market might actually not be supporting that move. It's just like how the gas indicator on your car can say that, hey, you're out of gas, but you can still squeeze a few miles out of it. That's the scenario we were getting today. We were rejecting the 95% weekly value area low from some prior week, so sellers were trying to keep us from getting into that week's majority of that week's range. And instead, we had a squeeze up, got into that prior month's halfback at 40.78. That was the main number I was looking at today. And once we distributed at the highs and this point of control shifted, you can see we did not get a sell into VWAP. Instead, it continued to try and push higher, got a sell, got under VWAP, or got under that point of control where the volume was being done, could not get into VWAP, ramped back over, then finally got below, got into VWAP, got into the gap close, the range gap close, and got into that price gap close at 49.25. So overall, this session was quite a win for the bulls, if you ask me. They managed to make a new high on this push, and they managed to close this thing above settlement highs. It was a productive session for them. Now coming into tomorrow, I want to be a little bit careful as to where I'm getting long and where I'm getting short. So let's open up this chart over here. I want to be long 53.5. This number was great during the overnight session last night. You can see it was support really well, was resistance. That's where we caught our bid prior to the big move up. That's also roughly where we end up opening. 57s are the open. 53s are kind of around that 95, 87 to 95% of the value area today, of the trading range today. Likewise, I'm interested in 43s. This is where 95% of the volume of the prior week finishes. So once we get below 43s, it's a little bit harder to be, what would be the word? Ultra bullish, I suppose. So I'm interested in getting long 43s after a run of this overnight low. So I want to see this number over here, this 41-ish number, get ran, and then take 43s long. I want to be long 53s. I know there's that number around 65.25. However, I'll be waiting to get short at the point of control at 75s. And then beyond there, nothing's really changed for me. Waiting for 98s to get short in that gap close, shorting 88s after that, getting long again around 40.28-ish. Probably have to change these numbers slightly, the RTH and ET external trading hours yearly VWAP, but none of that has really changed for me. I'm still looking to get long as long as we're above that kind of 4018 number, that the major consolidation on Friday before that huge rip to the upside. So that's how I'm looking at this still. Is I still want to overall be a buyer for tomorrow. And again, that may change based on how the algos react to whatever JPOW is yapping on about. So shorter video for today. Overall, what I want to get across is we had the gap up, a consolidation without being able to close the gap, a squeeze up to new highs of the day around last month's halfback. We distributed, yet we're unable to break that point of control, even with the internals not so healthy. It took a while, and then we finally got to move back into the gap close, which again is not the worst thing in the world for buyers after a 3.25% or 4% move up in the past 3 sessions. So I hope that makes sense. There's probably going to be some changes to this by tomorrow morning, given that it's only about 7 p.m. right now. So any of those changes will be posted to Twitter pre-market per usual. Have a great night and trade safe.